What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, we're going to talk about Warner Bros. Montreal, potentially this new logo for the brand new Batman Arkham game. Now, we're going to be having pictures, I think, throughout this. This comes from our notorious friend, James Sigfield, who, again, we've talked a lot about this guy. He's gotten some things right. He's gotten some things wrong. You guys, if you've followed me along for enough time, you'll know I have some problems with him, but there's really no denying this picture, okay? Now, so this comes from a tweet from him. This was last night at 5, or I think at the time you guys watching this, last night, 5:41. This could possibly be our first look at the logo for the new Batman game reboot. He's going really hard into that game reboot, by the way, from the elevator at Warner Bros. Montreal. Now, I don't know. I mean, there it is. There's the image. And then he goes on to say, so you can see the picture, an obvious big departure from the previous logo from the Batman Arkham games, which you can see the other logo, or what the logo used to be. It closely resembles the logo from Batman Beyond. The slight difference in head, wing, angle, and color palette are noticeable. It could be something left over from the canceled Damian game, as that had Batman Beyond influences. So it's not confirmed, right? Obviously, we don't know if this for sure is it. I think that with something like this, to be quite honest with you, like, yes, it looks a little bit like, it looks a lot, actually a little bit is probably an exaggeration. It looks a lot like the Batman Beyond one, right? I would give it that. But the thing is, well, one, I don't know why you wouldn't have changed it at this point, right? If you can, because here's the deal. Here's actually the deal of this whole thing. I was going to go into a long thing, but let me stop myself and let me clear the tables right now with kind of the timeline. I think, again, we would just be assuming, if you would say, oh, well, maybe they just haven't changed the elevator yet, right? They haven't changed the logo. You have to remember that, again, the game that was canceled, this Damian Wayne game, was not canceled yesterday. It wasn't canceled a month ago. It wasn't canceled in September or October. Remember, it was early. It was like mid-October when the rumors of the Damian Wayne canceled game came out. And I had said back then, I will say it again now, just because we get info that that game had been canceled and we got that info in October, does not mean that that's when the game was canceled, right? Because then that would have meant that they had just started this new Batman game, this reboot, this thing that's going to kick off the DC Extended Universe. They would have started that in October. Now, how is that even remotely possible when there were rumors of this game being announced at the Game Awards? How is that remotely possible when there's been reports, the huge leak that came out 2 weeks ago of the game coming out this upcoming fall, being on current gen, all that kind of stuff, right? Being a soft reboot on the franchise. How does that happen if they start in October? You're telling me they're going to make a full game in 10 to 12 months? That's literally, I'm telling you right now, that's literally impossible. So what I'm saying to that is, putting that all together, yes, they could have just not gotten rid of this from their elevator. Maybe the elevator is not their primary focus, which it shouldn't be, and so I would give you that. But it's not like this game was canceled 2 days ago. They've had years. I think they've been working on this game for at least 2 years. I believe, what was the rumor? The Damian Wayne game was canceled in 2017. So that's at the time that the game would have come out, or even right now, you can think of it, 2.5 years. I would argue that game had been canceled. So I think they've been working on this new game for at least 2.5, maybe 3 years, and also the fact that I think they've taken a lot from that Damian Wayne game and just used it here. Again, the logo, yeah, maybe they just didn't think of that, but if it's been 2.5, 3 years since they've changed over and they know that they're in charge of softly rebooting Arkham and starting the next phase of DC games for Warner Bros., like, it would have changed, right? So what this could very easily be is, yeah, again, it resembles the Batman Beyond thing, so maybe they just wanted to keep that. That could honestly just be a thing. Maybe they just wanted to keep the resemblance to Batman Beyond, and this is just, again, the start of what's to come. They can pick and choose what they want. I'm sure it seems like they would probably lean towards just dropping Arkham Asylum, City, and Night from existence and just do their own thing, right? Pretend that didn't happen and do their own continuation of whatever this Arkham game is going to be. But maybe Batman Beyond, that kind of, again, like futuristic Batman game, maybe that eventually happens one day. But again, like, it's fine. Also, with it being a soft reboot, I do agree. One of the things that normally does change when you do things like this, well, obviously titles change, right? And we've talked about that. Will Arkham actually stick? Will they remove it? I think it'll stick. But one thing that could change a little bit is the logo. Logos for things, just in general, for each passing entry in a game, they normally change as well. Normally, the logos get updated or things just get changed with them in general. But for something like this, or even a soft reboot or a reboot in general of a franchise, any movies, television, games, stuff like that, logos tend to change. So it makes sense that they would not keep the exact Arkham logo that they had been using for Origins, Asylum City Night, again, because it is an Arkham game. It's going to feel like an Arkham game, and maybe there'll be some resemblance and they'll again kick off their own thing, but it's not those 4 games. It's not exactly those. And so I think just off the bat, if you're buying the game and you see the game cover, it's still called Arkham, but the logo is different, right? It's a slight modification of what it used to be. So basically what I'm saying is, even if you want to say, well, it connects to Batman Beyond, they canceled that, so maybe it's just a layover. I actually think that it can be that, but also, yeah, it can actually still be the logo of this Batman. They could have just said, you know what? We already had a logo. It was going to be for this Arkham Legacy game, but it fits. It's different than the original one. We want this to be like a fresh take on it. That's the whole point. So we'll just keep it. And then eventually, if we do a Batman Beyond one day, I mean, it'll look very much like we just color it red. But for now, we can just have it, and it would be the Capture the Night and that kind of stuff. It would just fit in with what we're doing right now. So I think this very well could be the logo. I really do. I think that, again, they could have just forgotten it on the elevator because, again, 2 years could go by. Maybe they're just like, hey, Steve, you never changed that logo in our... Why do you even have the logo in the elevator in the first place? But it could have very well been a thing like that. But at the same time, again, it's not like this happened a month ago. This has happened for years. The fundamental game that they are making is not this Batman Beyond Damian Wayne-like game. That was done years and years ago, and for years now, they've been making a brand new game. So I don't necessarily buy that. I think they would have changed things. I'm sure if one day we get a look into their office, we would see, and a lot of game developers would have this, all sorts of art and all sorts of things just hanging around the workplace. I would assume that it's going to be reflective of the game they're making. I mean, maybe some things of games they used to make, so maybe you'd see some Arkham Origins art or just things in general from Arkham Origins around their office, but for the most part, I think it would kind of reflect the game that they're currently making. I think that's the case for any game development team. So if they're going to update that, why wouldn't they update an elevator? Again, an elevator is a weird spot to have this anyway. And again, also, this is only trusting the fact that James is right, who, again, he backpedals a lot. There are some negative things about him for sure, and I've called him out on every single one of them. But I mean, it is a picture. It has the Warner Bros. Kind of logo in the background, so it looks legit. The question just is, I guess, is that actually their elevator? Stuff like that. There are more questions, and you don't have to take my word for it. But as always, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think this could actually be the logo for the brand new Batman game? I don't think this really signals that it's coming out tomorrow. They're going to announce it tomorrow, but it's just something to add on to okay, I don't know how long that picture would stay out there before something happens because of it, stuff like that. So, as always, keep your eyes and ears peeled. Let me know if you guys see anything in the comments, Discord, Twitter, email, any of that kind of stuff. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed and have that bell icon rung so you know when these videos come out. And I believe we're going to have a video in a couple days from now going back to Arkham. This is a video I'm making on the fly last night, really, really quickly recording it. So this was something that just spontaneously happened. And as always, if these things happen, I will make videos about them as quickly as I can, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.